Consistently attract soulmate clients. Begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Rosalyn Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to the sweet spot that activates your soulgasmic business. Enjoy this light language activation as we begin to magnetize and monetize.
Hello, loves. Welcome. Oh my gosh, I am very excited about this episode because if you have been connected and following me for a while, you will know that Aurora Light is not a stranger. We are major co-creators and collaborators, and I'm going to apologize in advance about any sort of, we'll say, noise, because both of us are energetically very powerful. And so there might be some frequencies coming through that don't make this podcast and TV show sound at its greatest. So we've asked the tech gods and spirit guides to support us in this, getting our messages and downloads through. But if you're new to me, then you'll probably also be new with Aurora Light. So I'm going to share just a little bit more of a personal story. So Aurora Light is, I'm so proud of being able to share this. She's a former soulmate client of mine. And she hired me because she just has this amazing vision, tons of wisdom, and she wanted me to help her distill it into being able to support her in the marketing and the messaging so that it made sense to the world. And as we were figuring out like who her soulmate clients were, and this was just before COVID hit. So just over 2 years ago. And we were going over who her soulmate clients were. I had just got gifted earlier that year, light language. And as we were discovering, she's here to support people to activate their light language, to understand it, to like really use it for highest truth and good. I'm like, and not just that, more than that. But I was like, I need to hire you. So it's been a magical co-creation, and I am so proud of what Aurora's created today. Like over these last years, she's created, even in her first year of coaching, she's created 6 figures in contracted sales. So it's been incredible. Now, let me share with you who she is more formally. She has changed my life, as you can see. Aurora is here anchoring the frequencies of possibility and help people remember their true creative power. She is an ascension doula and creation coach who supports soul-led visionaries, healers, teachers, practitioners, coaches, and creatives to rebirth themselves. Oh, yes, she does. And their businesses into their next level by creating sacred spaces for them to amplify their intuition, connect with their highest self, activate their soul voice, and embody their unique essence to consciously co-create their reality. She's here to help the helpers be the change they want to see in the world and connects deeply with it. So Aurora does this in many magical ways. I'm going to just have you come on, Aurora, and say hello. So excited for you to be here. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much for inviting me again. Our conversations are always so activating. It opens a portal of possibility when we speak together. So I know that people listening are going to receive some interesting codes.
Totally magical. I know that every time we do lives together, I've been on many of your summits, you've been on mine, and it's just been like so magical in the activations that our viewers have, and just like abundance in all forms for us. So I can't wait to have people just tune in and share what they're receiving in this conversation and how they're going to be catalyzed and activated into their next level. So today we are going to be speaking about embodying, going from book wisdom, taking what we've been reading, what maybe we've been listening to on the spiritual level, on a personal development level, and then embodying that wisdom, which you are so gifted in supporting us to do. And I'm a living testimonial for that. So can you share with us a little bit more about what exactly embodied wisdom means?
I would love to. I think this is such an important topic for us right now in the age of information, where we have more information available than ever before. You know, the internet at our fingertips, but also, as you know, the veils are thinning. And so there's so much more information available from the cosmos, from the Akashic records, from our guides, from our heart, right? So there is a need for us, I believe, to take all of that knowledge, all of that information from the idea realm that kind of floats up here and in our head, and actually bring it through our bodies so we can live it, digest it through having the experiences, and also like take some time to integrate it instead of just rushing on to the next thing, and then learn to express it through our creativity, through our creator beingness, whether that's through our words, through our movement, through our sounds, through writing, through art. It's just about taking things from that mind level and bringing it into the body so we can physicalize it out into the world and actually take the knowledge, which is just the thoughts, right? Just the ideas, and turn it into something that is actually wisdom. Right.
You know, and to share, as you share that, it to a lot of people, that's like another concept, right? And we both know, we preach about how it's the taking in the experience and sitting and like letting yourself like move through, even if it doesn't feel good, because oftentimes it does not. But that's where the real, like, it's like turning that shit into gold, right? And it starts by really being with the sensations, the dropping in and going, like, let me notice this and let me alchemize this. Can you share a little bit more about how people can really like start to move into that place of being able to take something in here and then dropping in?
There's so many different ways. When you're talking about alchemy, you know, you're talking about one of my favorite things, that transmutation from one substance to another and from knowledge to embodiment is one of those alchemies. So there's a couple different ways. I just want to touch first on what you mentioned about even when things don't feel good.
Yeah,
being able to turn the shit into gold. So if we live a life where things happen and we are in that perspective of it happening to us, stuff is not going according to plan, things are crumbling, you know, and we feel like a victim to the circumstances, then, and we don't spend any time taking that contemplation, taking that digestion and go, what is this actually showing me? What is the lesson here? What can I extract from it? And what is it pointing me towards? Then you're not actually going to digest the experience and turn that into the nutrition that brings you the wisdom. You are just living life and it's happening at you. But when you can take the time to contemplate, to digest, to take the opportunity to have whatever is occurring that doesn't actually feel like you want to keep it there, and say, what would I like instead? And use that as fuel to point you in the direction you want to go. Then you can move out of that victim consciousness into that space of, wow, this is actually happening for me to learn and grow. And that knowledge starts to become wisdom when we're going, let's take the lessons out of this, let's learn from it, and then let's build on that. It's creating the foundations, the building blocks that really support us in becoming that next level being, right? Activating your evolution.
And I'm just going to say, and I'm probably going to be speaking a lot, not probably, I will be, I'll be speaking a lot from working with you as your client, my experiences, because I feel like having, as our audience is tuning in, you know, like having that real life personal example is going to be supportive. So when I work with Aurora, what she does is she starts with really like guiding me through a meditation activation. And it's at first, I have to be honest, at first I'm like, is this really happening? That's like what my ego says, because all these like galactic forces and these different beings are coming in, and like she's painting this magical picture that feels like it's like like literally unreal. And I'm like, all right. Like this was when I first started working with you. So again, 2 years ago. And I'm like, okay. And then as time went on, and I am quite woo at this point, and this is like the next level, right? And as time went on, I was like, okay, like I start to feel the energies, I start to feel what's going on, and this is all online like this. And it's like, whoa, I feel that. Whew, I feel the tingles. And then at one point, I remember you sharing something about the red carpet of the Galactic Federation was coming and they're just welcoming me. And I'm like, okay. And then I heard like the trumpet sound. It's been working with you that has supported me in opening more my clairaudience. And I was like, did you just make that trumpet sound? She's like, no, like... I'm like, I heard it. So it's been really magical. And since then, it's been really unfolded. And it's like, I don't even question anything. So it's like this complete trust of just, wow, we're taking in, you have this incredible magical ability to see into the cosmic and just like literally see and name and label and just all these energies that are here for us and around us. And in the work, it just energetically literally feels so magical. I am sure you have clients that share all of it, probably in a different way, but that's how I like to share it.
Yeah, I do remember that, and the look on your face of surprise was amazing. So I feel like that is what is sometimes missing, is that people will like think about all of these different energies. And I love working with not only the cosmic, but also the earth-based energies and all of the other etheric allies that we can work with, including the earth and the rocks and the trees and the animals and things like that. We can connect with all of it. So it's not just all the galactic stuff. But giving people the space to actually start to experience it themselves is such a different thing than just reading about it online or taking, some kind of person's word for it. And like you said at the beginning, you were just like, yeah, sure. But when you have your own experience, and it starts usually with the physical, and then it can open up in our different senses, seeing, feeling, just dreaming, imagining it, and start to make those connections. It's undeniable. That's also the difference between like knowledge and then the experience that can then turn into wisdom, right? When you have it for yourself, then you have no doubts.
Absolutely. And actually, I want to share my alien octopus story that happened just before Aurora. I hired Aurora because it was just, so we had our session, like me as your business coach. And then that's when I was like, wait, I'm totally your soulmate client. And I was like, okay, but I'll like hire you later, right? And then literally a couple days later, I was in bed. It was the middle of the night. And sometimes Dan doesn't sleep very well on our bed. So he goes to the basement to sleep. And so it was, I don't even know what time it was. It was absolutely in the middle of the night though, like probably like 2 or 3 a.m. And I felt this presence come like in. And of course, who did I think it was? It was Dan. And I'm like, Dan? It was so strong. It was like right beside me, like right here. And no answer. So I like bolt up. I'm like, Dan? Like I could feel a presence. It was undeniable. I've never felt a presence like that in the middle of the night. And I'm like, all right, there is nobody here. So I'm like, just like going back to bed. And it's pitch dark in my room. And my eyes, like I just opened my eyes, and all of a sudden in front of me, probably at arm's length like this, I saw this almost like this holographic pink octopus-like thing. And it was like, it had like arms. It was like, you know, doing its octopus swimming thing. And I was like, just staring at it. And I could remember telling myself, oh, my eyes are opened. I am not imagining this. This is actually happening. This is an alien here. And I felt this like complete calm. But then my like ego kicks in. I'm like, oh my God, like this is like not normal. I'm like putting on the blankets over my head. I'm like, just like go sleep, go back to sleep, go back to sleep. And in the morning, I like knew that was not a dream. And so I remember messaging you right away, Aurora, and I was like, okay, this is just what happened. Can you tell me more? Like, what is this? So it was just fascinating. I was like, I obviously cannot wait, because there was another series of like events sort of like this, where it just led to undeniable presence of beings here and giving me signs to be like, yo, you can't put this on hold. You got some gifts. You got to like get yourself out there. We're here to work with you. And I was like, Aurora, I'm going to hire you right now. Because at this point, I didn't understand my light language. I was hiding. You know, I was not really like preaching what I help people do, unapologetically show up in all of you. And I was like, wow, this light language thing, I was more concerned about not about like people judging me that I speak light language, more concerned about, is this going to harm, like, what if I harm somebody with it, right? Like, I wasn't sure how to use it. I didn't want to like be doing this thing. And like, I was like, ugh. So I need to hire you. So I knew I could be more confident to use my light language, develop it, and use it for the highest truth and good. I have so much. If you guys can't tell, I have so much gratitude for Aurora changing my life.
It's been such a fun co-creative energy, because also I love being able to witness you stepping fully into your magic, which is the whole point of what I wanted to share. And it's so natural for us to want to hide the parts that feel like they might be misunderstood or might be dangerous, because they're not well known, right? But we have this, I call it the witch wound, right? That fear that's in our body that might be from past life experiences, soul experiences, or just in the collective, where we just know that people don't always take kindly to those that are very magical and in touch with the etheric, because it's scary. So moving through all of that to speak and share boldly and unapologetically is just my favorite thing to witness. So I am so freaking proud of you for stepping up and sharing it on your podcast and now TV show and in your client sessions, and just owning all that you are, because we're so multidimensional, right? That's the thing that's coming in that is shifting so much, is we're actually tapping in to the all that we are, because we're not just these human beings. We have a whole plethora of other like branches of existence that we can now pull in and from. And I know you've explored that so much with your Akashic Records work as well. So just being able to bring the past and the future, all of it into the now, and pull out the wisdom that all of you have had as well, is part of our journey right now, without having to pull through the traumas right? We can pull the wisdom through from everything that we have been as well.
Oh, so magical. And my love says, you're tuning in. As you can see, we aren't meant to do things alone. I could not be who I am and where I am today without, you guys know, I love my coaches. I love my healers. I love being a client. Right. And same with Aurora, right? Like, we are here today because we reached out for mentorship. And that's what's really important, because you can't see your own stuff, and you don't know what you don't know, right? Like, we need that professional, I'm going to say, we need that professional hold space for us in such a sacred way, aligned with our highest truth and our greatest vision, our soul purpose. So now, Aurora, I know that you also, you are creating something really huge right now, which is your certification program. Can you share a little bit more about that? Because I know a lot of people are like, there's a lot of, you work with a lot of conscious visionary leaders, and you're here to help them really like amplify their capacity to raise the consciousness of humanity. Mm-hmm. Can you share a little bit about your program and how you do this?
I'd love to, because this opportunity that we have right now is to create spaces, sacred spaces, that people can have their own experiences in. And I feel like this is something that we can integrate into the coaching industry more so, into workshops and retreats. So the certification program that I have is to train people to create those sacred spaces so people can have that experience with themselves, just like you did in your sessions. But this particular certification program is really strongly working with the earth, working with the elemental forces of creation, and working with Gaia, who I also channel, the consciousness of the planet. And she is co-creating this with me to help the people that are here to be the leaders create those spaces for people to begin to experience their own physical, tangible, embodied, magical connections, and have epic transformations that are sourced through them, right? So instead of teaching at somebody or healing somebody, we're creating opportunities for people to have that experience themselves. And the certification program is something that teaches you how to build your own spiritual academy that can run retreats, workshops, programs, as well as one-on-one coaching, so you can have that beautiful diversity of experience that I know you love in your own business, right? Not having all your eggs in one basket, being able to scale out of just one-on-one sessions as well into that one-to-many also allows us the time freedom and the abundance consciousness that is also what is available to people now. And I've just been really working with Gaia on this activation of taking people out of that idea of scarcity and separation and into the abundance consciousness realm that I know you know so well. Gaia literally shared with me that she is on board with wanting to support as many of the coaches and healers and practitioners and light workers and visionaries to move into that space of abundance in their business, not only to ripple out like the healing and the transformation, but so they have the money so that they can create the impact that they're going to create. So it's this gorgeous project of so much. And also we bring through not just things like light language and meditation and journaling in all of the work we do, but also dance, intuition, movement of all kinds, sound, music. So it's a full sensory experience of taking all the idea stuff and bringing it through and into the body, into that creative expression that makes us align with our creator beingness and possibility.
I love it, because one thing you're really amazing at is helping us just really shift off the ego, because you are also certified as a belief repatterning coach. And it's like, just like dropping that ego and letting yourself play like as if we're back to being little kids again, and we just didn't have that worry of what do other people think, because we are just totally in our beingness. And that's what we bring back to help us remember within ourselves. It's very playful to work with Aurora, and you get to, and you guys all know I'm about sacred play and bringing that back in, because God damn it, so many of us are so damn serious. Like, we take life so seriously. Yes, absolutely, there are world events happening as we record this that are not good at all, right? And we have to remember part of our sovereignty is to come back into our space and create this sacredness within, finding the pleasure within, being able to have this sense of center, like empowered, sovereign centeredness, so that we're radiating out this into the world. No, it does not, quote unquote, fix everything directly, but indirectly, we are creating those ripple effects. And I think that's what's so powerful, is that when we really tune into ourselves and then radiate out this love into the world, it shifts everything.
It's a necessity to refuel ourselves as well. We can't deal with the stress and the world events unless we fill up our cup.
Yes.
And it's how we have access to our intuition and our logic and everything that we need, right? It's to come back to that center place. Because if we are only spinning in all of the stress and all of the seriousness, then we just get stuck in that space.
Yeah. Yeah. Aurora and I are just, we are, as you can see, like very, very connected with the higher frequencies, but we both have backgrounds that are very much based in psychology and neuroscience. You know what? We're going to put a pause here, leave people on a bit of a cliffhanger. And when we come back, we're going to keep jamming about this in our backgrounds and how this all sort of like comes about, because I know that a lot of times, especially with lots of spiritualpreneurs, they can be hanging up here and not feel like there's much groundedness. And we both believe it's very important to integrate all of that. All of the divine masculine, divine feminine, the earth, sky energy, right? It's really, really important. The science and the spirituality, that all needs to come together. So we'll be right back after this commercial break.
OMTimes TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. OMTimes Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, OMTimes offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an OMTimes magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on OMTimes TV and broadcasting it across the extensive OMTimes radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. OMTimes. Open yourself to the possibilities.
Are you feeling maxed out working one-on-one with clients, and you're deeply desiring to scale your business for more time freedom without sacrificing your income, but rather expanding it? Many of my clients who are light workers, healers, practitioners, and even coaches, they're often multi-modality, are coming to me because they are sick and tired of working with clients on a one-off session model where the clients are coming in on an as-need basis. Or if they're selling packages, they are selling them in the sense of buy 5, get 1 free, or the greater the number of sessions, the greater the discount. The problem with this is it's still a dollar for hours business model. And so that leaves the practitioner feeling really exhausted and overwhelmed from having to put so much time, effort, and energy in finding new clients that they're not operating in their most elevated self with their current clients. And so if this is you, I would love to share with you that it's time to elevate your business and scale it to sell high ticket one-on-one programs or even group programs. This will allow you to have more deeper impacts because you're raising your clients' results, you're scaling your business, and you're having that time freedom you deeply are yearning for. If this is resonating with you, love, I'd love to invite you to come on a soul business alignment call with me so that you can stop feeling like you're on this roller coaster ride and start to feel safe and stable and even having fun in your business and your finances. Please go to electrifymybusiness.com to apply and we'll hop on a call. I can't wait to connect.
If I could be you and you could be me for just 1 hour, if we could find a way to get inside each other's minds, walk a mile in my shoes, walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
Hello, welcome back, loves. So just before commercial, I also wanted to come back to Aurora's background here. Because Aurora, before you hired me, you had been working with kids for quite a long time in the school system. Can you share a little bit about your background and how you got to be who you are today?
Sure. It was my first business, actually, and I called it Dancing into Being, Movement, Arts, and Healing. And it was my first foray into entrepreneurship. And I started with conscious dance and sacred dance and moved into teaching and performing flow arts with a hula hoop, of all things, and then other props. And it was this most beautiful experience of bringing people into their own personal mastery, right? That connection and flow state and self-expression and all of that. And then I met with a woman who was already in schools working as an artist in residence, because that's a thing that they do now. They didn't necessarily when we were in schools the same way.
No,
They bring in some artists, but instead of taking kids on field trips to go to a gym and to go explore things, they realized it was actually more effective to bring in specialists to teach where they could go through a longer period. And this woman was teaching dance and gymnastics inside schools, and she was wanting to bring in something new, something different. And she brought me on as a contract artist in residence to share the flow arts and circus arts. And I was a gymnast in the past, so I could also teach her gymnastics units. And it was so fun because I had the chance to sneak in a lot of these spiritual concepts to the kids, teaching them that in order to activate your superpowers, just like Dr. Strange, you need to study and you need practice. And that's how you access things. And we would do it with hula hoops. We would do it with cartwheels. We would do it just with their bodies. And it was so much fun. And I was able to really learn how to bring kids out of their shells. And I also worked with adults at the time with dance and with flow arts. And I was really able to see how the things that work with kids to get them comfortable doing things also worked with adults too, to get them out of their judging minds and into their bodies and feeling like it was okay to play. And it just set up so much possibility for me, because that's what typically holds us back, is the fear of looking silly or bad or not good enough when we're trying something new. So I love being able to get people out of their heads and into their bodies so they feel safe to explore. And we had talked about play just before the commercial break. And I just wanted to say, as a parent, I'm sure you know this, it's much easier to get kids to do something that maybe they don't want to do if you make it fun, right? If you gamify something.
Yeah.
We actually learn best as infants and children through play. That's how they learn. And we know that for kids. So we make things fun. We incorporate games. But the thing is, we don't actually grow out of that. Adults actually also still learn best through play, through experience, through making things fun. We forget that somewhere along the way.
My loves. Like, I really want you to just take that in. That's so important, that we actually still learn best when we are playing. We're making things fun. Totally makes sense, which is so much part of my vibe in business. I mean, it's part of my last name too, so it's a given. But it's so important. By the way, I just have to name what's happening if those of you are watching the show rather than just tuning in on the podcast. But Aurora is not clear on the screen. There's a lot of frequencies happening. And I'm glad the sound is coming through very clearly over the picture.
Interesting, because the same is happening to you on my end, but mine is clear. So
interesting. We're gonna have to ask Christopher, the producer, what he sees. But anyway, let's shift into abundance consciousness, one of our favorite topics to jam on.
We started talking about it already when I mentioned how Gaia, the consciousness of the planet, is actually really, really invested in supporting the leaders, the light workers, the healers, the practitioners, the coaches, all the people that are watching this right now, to move out of that scarcity program. And it is a program that we've been programmed with, that there's not enough, and move into the next octave of experience, first energetically, and then physicalize it with the experience that actually, when we're in alignment with everything, there is more than enough for everyone. And she wants us to reconnect with her operating system, with the way that the planet itself was created, with abundant resources that can be utilized so that there is more than enough for us all. And we don't have to feel scarcity, lack, competition, all of that, when we're in harmony with everything, right? We're on this planet to be part of the planet, not to be running the agendas that we have been running, which have been interesting explorations. But the point is to come back into harmony with where we are right now and understand that we're part of the ecosystem, energetically and physically. And we can start to anchor that in as entrepreneurs by moving out of there's not enough and we have to fight and we're in survival, and move into that infinite possibility of thriving and cooperation, and how we can rise together, because then we can support each other, right? And we can co-create together. And then that's where the magic happens.
And I love that. It's just, what I'm really taking out of that is, because everything starts from the inside. And I always like to say everything is neutral until we put meaning to it. And how we do that is based on our belief system. And when it comes to money mindset, which also as entrepreneurs, it's related to sales mindset, right? And our beliefs around money and our beliefs around sales, it's going to impact how we show up in the world and in the energy of these themes. And so when we can clear that stuff, we can shift our beliefs. What really starts to happen is we get to attract the opportunities, the clients, the collaborations to come through and come forward. This is the year, 2022 is the year of co-creation and collaboration. And Aurora, I really am just like, honestly, I'm just like, our relationship is absolutely divinely guided. I mean, yes, many relationships, they all are. But this one is in the sense of, we have come together in this lifetime, and I'm sure in past lives too, to really anchor in our truths and co-create together. I mean, a lot of our clients end up being mutual clients, right? And it's just crazy, amazing how, I'm going to say, easy and fun it is to create abundance with you in all forms. Abundance of joy for our clients, abundance of prosperity, abundance of showing up. It's so incredible, the work that we do together. And I always like to say abundance comes in more than one form. So that collective energy, their co-creation energy, is so key to abundance.
This is one of the things that we get to be the change with, and we get to hold in our field the example of what is possible when you are literally existing in abundance consciousness instead of the old separation and scarcity paradigm, because there's no competition. And there are so many old programs and sisterhood wounds of competition and scarcity, and in the coaching industry and business where it's cutthroat. And because neither one of us play in that paradigm, we can so effortlessly refer clients back and forth, and we are so much more abundant, and they are as well, because of it, because there's no wounding left inside going like, oh, if I tell this person about Roz, then they're not going to want to work with me. Right? Because there's this trust. There's this trust, like, there's enough for me, there's enough for you, there's more than enough. And it's even better when we do it together.
Absolutely. And we recognize, we see each other. We truly see each other's talents. And we see that, what you offer, it's kind of like light codes, right? We both speak light language, and everybody that speaks light language holds different frequencies, holds different codes that only they do, so that when they deliver it, the receiver receives it in a really different way from each person that they're tuning into for these light codes. And so I see the same in different ways, whether it's in business, whether it's in friendships, right? Like, no one friend is better than the other. No one coach is better than the other. It's like we get to offer our talents, and it's like the receiver gets to bring in the alchemy of all of these teachings and wisdom, and then embody it.
And this is just such a great thing to speak into with all of these entrepreneurs, coaches, healers, teachers, speakers watching, because I often hear people say, I don't think I've got something unique enough to say. Do you ever have that with your clients where they're worried about copying somebody and they don't have their own voice? So I always think of it in terms of when people are sharing truths, even if they're very similar to other people's truths, but they're speaking to it from the embodied wisdom place of having lived it, they're going to be sharing it with their own tones, their own codes, and in their own way. And it's going to land differently from different people. So people will have heard both of us say such similar things, but it's going to land differently from each of us. We need all of our voices to share these truths, especially if you have lived the wisdom and made it your own, as opposed to just regurgitating someone's knowledge, right? And that's why the embodiment part and turning things into wisdom instead of just book smarts that you are then regurgitating out is so important to be in integrity as a teacher and an entrepreneur.
Oh, 1,000%. And that's why, I even share about like with sharing your voice on your platforms, your social media. Honestly, you can hire a copywriter and it'll never, I've done it before, and it's just not the same because it's not you sharing it, right? And it's really important that it's like when we embody our truth so deeply, it's easy to let it come through versus somebody trying to pretend to be our voice and then writing for us. Like, people know. People know. So it's real important that when we show up, we also really share it from our our place of how exactly we would share it. And again, it might be the same message. Like Aurora, you and I often have the same message, but how you would share it is quite different than how I would share it. Again, not better, different. So how many times for us in the audience, do we hear the same thing over and over and over again, but we hear it in different ways. And that's what helps us deepen that knowledge within ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's why entrepreneurship specifically is one of those fastest paths to ascension, to abundance consciousness, because we have to go through the personal development work. It brings up all your stuff for you to see, for you to alchemize, and for you to work with. And it's why in my certification program, a huge part of it is the personal development side. So people are learning how to work with the elements and the earth in their own very personal way so that they can share with their clients and their students from their lived experience instead of just from what I have shared with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually learned so much of this from one of my mentors about a decade ago. And I'm bringing through so much of her magic, but I've lived it over 10 years. So I can speak to it so authentically. And then, people will share some of my words, but I want them to alchemize it into their own voice, bring through their own niche, their own experience, and then share it with the world, because these truths get to be shared as far and wide as possible.
Yes, so beautiful. Before we go into our very powerful and potent light language duet meditation, I'd love to just have you share for those who are leaning in and really curious for more details to work with you, Aurora, whether it's for the personal spiritual growth, whether it's for growing their business, for the certification that you're offering. Please let us know how people can get a hold of you.
My website is joyevolution.com. And that's one way you can connect in, and the offerings are there. Emailing me at info@joyevolution.com or finding me on Facebook. You can take a peek at any of the offerings that I have and just let me know if there's something that you would like to speak into about what might be right for you, because I love all the awesome, and there's a lot of things I love to share.
Totally. You've got a really powerful Facebook group too. So, and if you are connecting with Aurora, she's new to you and you heard her from this podcast, TV show, please do let her know you heard about it through Old Sexy Warrior. So good.
Absolutely. And there's also an opportunity, actually, if people want to do a fun activation with Gaia into abundance consciousness that came through at joyevolution.com/masterclass, they can go through and receive 4 days of massive activations with the earth into the next level of abundance. It was so powerful. I would actually advise people to do that.
Go do it. Yes. And we'll make sure we have that in the show notes too. Yeah. Okay, Aurora, let's have you guide us in the next 9 minutes. You just cue me in for a light language duet, but I'd love for you to just take the floor totally right now and guide us.
Sure. So just in case someone that's tuning in is new, light language, think of it as language from our hearts and souls. And our hearts and souls are connected to all that we are, our multidimensionality. So it's going to bring through wisdom, light codes, information, and love from our hearts to yours. And I would like to invite you to feel it and receive it through your body, and just let the mind witness instead of trying to go, what does that mean? Think of it in terms of an art form. You can look at, the art behind both of us. And which is by the amazing Stephanie Hassan, Queen Nefertiti, by the way. These are our channeled soul paintings. You wouldn't look at it and go, what does it mean? You would feel it. You would experience it. So that's what I want to invite you to do with this light language. And if you would like to close your eyes just to drop into the heart space with me, we'll be able to receive it at the deeper level. So just take a breath in through your nose and really fill up your belly and your heart. And just sigh it out through the mouth. Beautiful. Imagine dropping down into the heart and your heart opening up to receive this communication from the depths of our beings to yours. You can blink your eyes open and watch, or you can stay in this beautiful closed-eyed state to really feel it. Ti kina ashkonya te kina maa. Deo kina kare tishkana kero koyata. Heyoki. Hare ayamo kishtana tare tiaka. Eki anakayo korita. Eokina kashtana tariti kopiata. Just breathing in and letting that all land on you. So you are open to receive and then digest and integrate what Roz shares as well.
Morakia, sero kuraku, ninia, surakia, tia morakia, surakura, mirakia, serkuratia. Surakura, miratia, kuratia, nerakia, mo, kiratia, nerkurtinia, morakia, serkurtia.
Ginashka nakaari ti, nakaari o kaari mokoreti. Heshna ari kinya atutiataka siako piratea.
Assim, morten kiera kuora, tia mora ke asiri tia mora kuora tia mora kuora ke sar kuora tia.
Tiush kiniaka, viene ayumo oko, diari di, yanya kario koneta.
Mana nene tia mora kuora nia mora kia sia mora kuora tia. Nere kia sia mora kuora kia sia. Sora kuora nene tia mora kuora tia mana kuora kia mora kuora tia nia. Anir kia sora kuora tia.
Neshki, ti amo yana, nyake no moe, no moria nue.
Ya ha, ya ha. Kia sa, mori kia sa, kia sia mori kia.
Meshki, bekinya kariti, teokinas kanadariki,
Turikia so muarkia, sirkia surkia muarkia sa, muarkia si muarkia ha, muarkia sa, sharakia murku.
mena ayumo erena.
Moratia, kiera coratia, morakia so, morakia sa, morakia moa, morakia sa, morakia so, morakia sa.
Teki, niaska a teki ata. Eoko stikanya amioki nare tish kana shukia sha.
Let's take this moment to allow our listeners to just let all of these sound codes, light codes, drop in, integrate, feeling the sensations in your body, feeling the tingles, the light flowing, the emotions releasing. There's no right or wrong. This is your experience. These are activations. Your soul codes unlocking. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Aurora. Okay. I have never, ever publicly sang before. That's what you inspired in me. And it's just like you step out of ego and you allow this beautiful soul code to just take over. So, whoo, thank you so much. And I can't wait to hear from our audience, to see and hear how this episode and this light language duet activation supported you all. What came through for you all? Please let us know.
I love you so much. And I'm so honored that you could play and just express yourself today, because it's beautiful. It's so much fun.
You know what? It's stepping out of fear and just doing it anyway, right? We're being the change we want to see. So thank you, love. I love you so much. And we've gotten so many comments about how beautiful, how powerful this is. We can't wait to hear more from you all. So please keep the comments coming live and on the replay. Thank you so much, Aurora. And do connect with Aurora. You know, you will not regret it. Clearly. All the magic. Thank you for being you. Thank you for showing up in this world and sharing your gifts, being the light, being the change we want to see.
Thank you for having me.